Welcome back to Lotus Cup Europe from Le Mans. You join me here surrounded by the field of this year's championship. It's great to have such a diverse grid with competitors coming from all over Europe to compete. Now let's see what the rest of the weekend has in store. Jean-Baptiste and Christophe, we're heading into the last race of the season with you two at the top of the 211 championship standings, separated by just a handful of points. Who do you think is going to win the title?
Personally, I really don't know. We'll see how the race goes, as I'm starting from the back of the grid. I hope the start of the race will go well. I hope I'll be able to catch Christophe fast enough, because I think he'll quickly get into a good rhythm, in which case I won't be able to catch him up. It's more or less the same for me. It's a race that ends a good season, during which we've had a lot of fun. Each of us have had moments where we've been quicker than the other. But no matter what happens, I think Jean-Baptiste or I deserve class victory. But we'll see. The race will decide.
After 14 races at 7 different circuits, it all comes down to this. Jeremy Lorenko against John Ras for the Lotus Cup Europe title, and Jean-Baptiste Lou and Christophe Lizan for the 211 championship title. The final chapter is about to get underway.
So this, the final race of the season, it is the double points race. And, well, will Jeremy Lorenko make it the clean sweep this weekend here at Le Mans? A rolling start once more, and away we go. And it's a great start from Gregory Ras from third on the grid, and Lorenko not quite as quick in anticipating the light changing on that occasion. Philippe Loup also looking to make a good start, but Ras challenging Lorenko as they head through the Dunlop curve, also surging through. That's Nicholas Walker, who very nearly had a huge moment. He eventually gets the car stopped for the chicane, but it's Lorenko who leads the way through the opening couple of turns, but now it's Gregory Ras and then Walker behind him. Xavier Georges from pole position down into fourth place. So they swoop through La Chapelle, climb up over the slight crest in the road and on towards the Virage du Musée. Lorenko moving across to cover the line reasonably late in the turn. He doesn't really quite make the apex there at all, actually, as then Ras looks to challenge. The rest of the field all pick their way through on towards Garage Vert. And again, Lorenko quite late on the turning. Can he cut it across the apex this time? Yes, he does. And this is part of the 24 hours of Le Mans for truck meeting, with attracting some 54,000 spectators. What that means is that over the course of the weekend, with the big trucks out on track, there is going to be quite a lot of rubbering in on the track, and a very distinct racing line forming. But now, good battle at the front of the field. Gregory Ras coming towards Jeremy Lorenko, and this is possibly the first time all weekend that Lorenko has reasonably been challenged at the front of the field. Heads into Raccourmont, swoops through, gets the power down on acceleration on the way out. Gregory Ras a little bit smoother, and now we've got Xavier Georges being challenged by Philippe Loup, and Loup to the inside. Also got John Walker looking to pick his way through. All these Exige V6 cars fighting at the front of the field. Thierry Verheest in the Evora looking to join in as well. We come over the crest of the road, down into La Chapelle. Walker looks to the outside of Xavier Georges. Georges sticks to the racing line. He's not going to make this easy for John Walker. So Nick Walker just up ahead of them. Then Georges moves across, covers the inside line again for the Virage du Musée. And this is good scrap for these places in the top five. All the while, though, of course, as they fight, the leading gaggle will be breaking clear as Xavier Georges outbreaks himself into Garage Vert. And we've seen this time and time again through the course of the weekend, that the drivers really struggling to find the right braking point for some of these hairpins. And that opens up the opportunity, as now here is the race leader. Jeremy Lorenko under real pressure now from Gregory Ras. Heading into the Bleu S-bend. Lorenko from Ras. And then they home back into view, heading on towards Raccourmont. Lorenko anticipating the corner a little bit too early then. Oh, and he runs wide, and that's going to give Gregory Rass the opportunity to get through. And that was fascinating because Lourenco just seemed to miss the braking point altogether whilst trying to turn in the car, understeering out wide. Here's another look at it. He's looking across, he's turning, and the car's just not slowing, or indeed turning. And as a result, he washes out wide, across the gravel. There's a little bit of a bump. Fortunately, the car doesn't actually kick around on him. It does cost him the lead of the race to Gregory Rass. And of course, this is potentially very significant, being the double points race for the end of the season. And all the while, in the production class, John Rass is to the fore, so the points that Lourenco would have taken off Rass in the preceding race, now John Rass will be reclaiming in this one. Thierry Verheest and Xavier Georges do battle. They've got Philippe Loup tucked up just by them. Here is another look how that all started. Philippe Loup across the gravel trap. I think that cameraman at that final corner is clearly on the day off from Cinema Art School, because every shot is the super slow-mo close-up, as now we have got the challenge from Xavier Georges to Thierry Verheest. Verheest in the Evora though, just slithers out wide, but again it doesn't open the door for Xavier Georges. This is the corner that's been catching them out though, into Garage Vert, because it's just that slight downhill braking zone for double apex, and this time it's Verheest who just understeers it, almost opens up the opportunity for Xavier Georges. Georges can't take advantage. Philippe Loup all the while runs out very wide, in fact over the AstroTurf, as they head into the S-bend. Oh, Verheest gets it a little bit wrong. You just saw he put a wheel on the curb and it unsettled the car. Had to seesaw, he holds the place. And Xavier Georges again not quite close enough to be able to take advantage. Georges then looks to the high line at the Bleu S. Nothing doing there, so they come out of that sequence into Raccourmont to conclude the lap. He's just looking at the driver's body language in the car, seems to be struggling a little bit with understeer, really having to hustle that Evora possibly a little bit more than he would like to be doing. They come across the line, complete another lap all the while at the front of the field. It's Gregory Rass from Jeremy Lourenco. And Xavier Georges closes up on to Verheest again through the Dunlop S-bend. Ahead of them you can see this battle between Nick and John Walker. Nick Walker at car 6, John Walker car 7, and he's got the fluorescent yellow wing mirrors, which is the easy distinguishing mark. It was such an electrifying start from Nick Walker, but now he concedes the place to John Walker, who ducks to the inside into the Virage du Musée. Gets the power down a little bit early. Tail of the car just slides, but he's able to carry that momentum through to Garage Vert. Now this is the critical corner. If you can get a good exit here, John Walker, then he might well be able to just build that little bit of a buffer over Nick Walker. But Nick slightly tighter to the apex, but John Walker carrying the momentum and therefore secures that third place. They run over the crest in the road and on towards the S-bend. What about the fight behind? Well, still Xavier Georges trying to pick his way past Thierry Verheest, but you can see as they battle that Steve Williams in another of the Evoras is looking to join in the party, as that cameraman does have a zoom function, as John Walker pulls clear of Nick Walker through the S-bend into Raccourmont to the end of the lap. They just wonder if they've all gone the wrong way with tyre pressures for this race, because everybody at the front of the field really seems to be struggling with understeer, and I just wonder if that's the track conditions changing with the big trucks out on track and practicing between races, because they all seem to just be suffering a little bit with it in these relatively early stages of the final race of the Lotus Cup Europe season. The championship still on the line. John Rass does need to bring it home, and in a good points position just to make sure that Jeremy Lourenco can't pip him at the post. Problems for Rob Woolridge. That's a quick spin into La Chapelle. He rejoins, just clear of the Verheest and Georges battle, but moves to the side of the road. I think he's going to seek to delay the quicker cars in the V6 Cup class. Indeed, he doesn't, so they all side through. Oh, Philippe Luke very nearly gets caught out. I think he carried in a little bit more corner speed in the anticipation that Rob Woolridge would have the same pace. What that means, though, is Philippe Luke now drops back from this battle between Verheest and Xavier Georges. Here's our race leader then, Gregory Rass, and Rass looking to break away from Jeremy Lorenko. Turns into the S-bend. Where is Lorenko? He's clearly not quite close enough to be in the same camera shot. There is just a glimpse of him in the background. He's probably 4.5 seconds back, something of that magnitude, as Rass accelerates through, completes the lap, and this is looking like a very strong way to finish the season for Greg Rass as he accelerates in towards the Dunlop curve. Jeremy Lorenko in second place. John Walker is up to third. We're going to take a short break from Le Mans. Join us in a couple of moments' time for the conclusion of the Lotus Cup Europe season.